Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon, and I'm here with the penultimate episode of Andor. Yes, we've only got 2 episodes to go, which is a damn shame because it's, not just because it's so good, but it also means that there's nothing essentially to really watch coming up. I don't think there's any shows being released until kind of January or February, when we get the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian season 3. That particularly interest me. Certainly nothing reaction worthy. If there are any interesting shows coming up, let me know. Put them in the comments. Also, before we get into the reaction, just to let you know that other than Zuko being here, this Saturday I am again taking part in the annual Extra Life 24-hour charity stream over on the Fandom Reactions channel. So if you could come and support us for that, it would be much appreciated. It starts at 4 p.m. UK time, which I believe is around about 8 a.m. Pacific time, if I'm right. So yes, that would be much appreciated if you could come and support for a good cause. We're raising money for children's hospitals in Hawaii, I believe it is this year. So, moving on to Andor and the second to last episode. Obviously, now we've had our final. My hair is absolutely. I don't know why. I had my hair cut a couple of weeks ago and it's normally okay. But for some reason, the fringe is just all over the place this morning. And Zuko's creating all kinds of chaos because he's an attention whore right now. So this is a very messy start to the video. I do apologise. Chaotic almost. But yes, we've had our final arc, the Narkina 5 arc. This is the 2-part finale. And the episode title, interestingly, is Daughters of Ferrix. Now, I believe Zuko is a daughter of Ferrix. Even though he's a boy, he's a cat, and he's not from a made-up alien planet in the Star Wars universe. The reason I say that is because he is just such a troublemaker, like Marva is, you know? Aren't you? You're just a troublemaker. You just want to spread your rebellion across this apartment, don't you? It's called the Daughters of Ferrix, which obviously we've had mentioned once before that Marva was a former president of the Daughters of Ferrix. Now, I don't know exactly who they are, whether they are charitable organization, whether there's some kind of a militia, who knows? But it's clear that the last 2 episodes will focus on Ferrix. I'm guessing that Cassian will find his way back to Ferrix, having escaped the prison last episode. And again, that was kind of a heartbreaking, and thrilling episode. We got a great escape, but that one line from Kino, "I can't swim," really kind of, I think put a sour dent on the episode, because I think if there's anyone who was going to escape, we wanted it to be him. But, there's still a few things we've not seen from the trailer. Dedra Miro being on Ferrix with the Death Troopers. We met as well Lonnie, or at least we've already met Lonnie, but we were introduced to Lonnie's true relationship with Luthen last week, as they had that brilliant speech down in the bowels of Coruscant. It was a great set piece, and I really, really enjoyed the speech itself. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I almost get the feeling like Lonnie's going to crack, and he's just going to open up to the ISB about everything in the hopes that they will, not kill him and his family. It seems to me that he knows that he's stuck with the rebellion now, so he has a choice. Either he carries on, or he tries to throw himself at the mercy of the ISB, which seems like a stupid idea for those of us who know what the ISB are like, and probably should be a stupid idea from his point of view. But it will be interesting to see what happens with that, because again, something clearly has to get Luthen to take action, because he, again, in the trailer, we see him destroying TIE fighters and whatnot. So we'll just have to wait and see. But before Zuko destroys my entire desk here, I'm going to jump into the episodes. So let's watch Andor, episode 11, season 1.
They're leaving. Stop saying that. They're leaving.
That's what I mean. We don't actually know what's on Narkina 5. That's going to be Marva, isn't it?
Okay.
Marva's sick.
Heartbreaking.
We're gonna take her out in a minute if you want to say goodbye.
Oh no. Don't tell me she's dead.
I'll have them clear the room if you want to be alone. The daughters of Ferrix require your assistance in matters of grave importance.
It's funny how he's treating it like an infant almost. Oh, poor B. Someone pointed out that the Imperial spy here is one of Deidre Miro's adjutants.
It happens.
I'm hoping this is not intentional.
Just started last week.
Just coincidence that these two are spies and they are interacting. Oh, those blobby aliens. Finally! Something I can cosplay! Oh no. Oh! That is not rope.
The dead are bricked. They mix your ashes with mortar and local stone dust, put your name on and fire it up.
Oh.
Become a block of Ferrix brick.
And then what?
Oh.
They find you a wall.
So Ferrix is built from dead people. That's horrendous.
What is he saying?
Is he alive or dead? The upper knows.
Oh my god.
No, let's stop.
He's got a knife arm.
Kill anyone they would. Kill the water, kill the Spriglies. Oh.
Oh, the practical effects on that alien is so good.
We have some new pieces in.
Where is he?
She's been collecting jewellery.
I don't have time for this.
Of course, Vel is straight to the point.
I have always. I have a constant blur of plates spinning and knives on the floor and needy, panicked faces at the window, of which you are but one of many.
Needy, panicked faces at the window.
I'll let him know. Do that.
I wonder if they'll recognise Vel and they'll start to connect the dots. And that's where things will start falling down for Luthen.
One night.
I like that they care about the droid at the very least. Ooh,
Anto Krieger.
he's a big boy.
That name.
Old ways hold us, safe in the knot, in the binding. The old
Kind of cultish shit is this?
bound against the wind.
No, he's strangely open-minded on this topic. It's her. It's the leader.
Oh, she wants to...
She loves it. And her friends. It's the only thing she shows up on time for.
Ah, so the haircut even seems to be like a traditional thing.
She
Yielding in acceptance.
So this is a strange situation where Leda may even welcome the betrothal to the gangster's son.
No idea it was that much.
400,000.
And they're looking into this when?
Soon. Very soon.
What happened to the 80 million that she lifted? You know? She said it was safe, but we never actually found out where the money went.
Call for you.
It's good to see Cyril again. It's the sergeant! It's the sergeant! We got to see him again!
Apologies, sir. Yes, Moana 1, still here.
Just speak clearly.
Indeed. Been a bit rugged for me lately, but, you know, we're marching onward.
Poor guy.
Smelter. Did lots of back and forth with Coruscant about it.
Are you saying that he's there?
No, I'm in Moana.
Where is Andor?
Yes, that's it. I show up at the funeral.
When?
If he's not in here, sir.
So now he's going to end up going to Ferrex.
That's what we've been through.
We need to speak further.
That's where he wants to go back to. Because his stuff is still going to be stashed in that room.
Do what?
Spellhouse Power Station. Tell Krieger I'm in.
Oh.
Tell him I'll bring air power. Where we take tactical orders from no one.
It's taking a long time coming back to me, so.
Let's say what's changed his mind.
Whatever we can carry off. You think it's worth losing Krieger?
I did. I'm not sure right now.
And what if it was me instead of Krieger?
That's not it.
Krieger doesn't
His
know
trust is going to be shaken.
He's captured. We warn him and throw away his source has taken years to cultivate.
You have people everywhere, don't you?
This is the paranoia.
One of your sources.
Try to concentrate.
You can
Someone
see,
at Krieger? Someone at ISB?
you can see where his descent into madness comes from.
It's Tubes.
Huh?
It's my man. He tells me everything.
Oh
He deserves it.
What is this?
dear.
What kind of game is this?
Uh-oh.
The alternative. Krieger pulls out, we wave him off. They'll know they'll have to wonder. They trust nothing.
Yeah.
Just like you're doing it right now.
Yeah. He's smart. The right move.
If I were ISB, so why wouldn't I just send you out there with him?
Let's call it war.
Yep. Oh, that was a tense standoff.
You need to think of the consequences of losing that piece to another collector.
I'm guessing it's Cassian.
Luthen? Luthen?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's on about Cassian. So is he going to... Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Stand by, Hallcraft. Run it.
Such a strange looking ship, but I know it's from the it's from the concept art.
Countermeasures charging.
Countermeasures. This ship is loaded. It's like a Bond car.
Get a boarding team ready.
Alderon Trade Alliance. Cancel the boarding?
No. We can use the practice.
Oh,
Prepare for boarding and inspection.
that shows you.
Gauge reverse.
They don't care for regulations or rules.
Countermeasures armed.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. Yes. This is such a cool ship. Here's the laser beams. Oh, so cool.
Hyperspace calibration complete.
You've just got to hope that they didn't track the true identity of the ship. And he now has to explain what's just happened.
Your mother's dead.
That's going to draw him back.
First year. Like a dream, right? How many do you think made it? How many of us?
I don't think many made it. It's not just a case of leaving the prison, it's getting off the planet.
What if it's just us?
Everyone Kino to have lived. So they will pick up later. Leaves him free to go back to Ferrex. That was a somber way to end the episode, but you know, it's clear now all roads lead back to Ferrix, and I predicted in the last time we saw Marva, I said that she probably wasn't going to survive the series. I didn't imagine that, you know, her death would come so suddenly and I guess off screen, but, you know, they made it very clear that she was sick, she wasn't taking the medications, you know, and the stress of the Empire being around probably exacerbated, you know, everything that was wrong with her. And, you know, again, I think it's easy to forget that there's a lot of time passing here. You know, we know that at the very least there was a month go by when Cassian was in prison. But, you know, there's even, you know, hints in the show that there's been more time than that passed since, you know, the events on Ferrix itself at the very beginning of the show. So whilst it may seem like a rapid decline to us because we're just watching it episodically, you know, it's actually happened over the course of many months. And yeah, I mean, that's clearly gonna, you know, send Cassian back to Ferrix. You know, a smart and stable person might think it's a trap. The worst thing that they could do is to go to Ferrix, but to be fair to Cassian, you know, he's going to be very emotional, and he's going to feel like he owes it to Marva to go and pay respects. And that's clearly going to be the escalation point, because not only do we have the ISB who are on Ferrix looking for Cassian, you know, you've obviously got Cinta, and now Vel is going to be there as well. And I'm guessing that Luthen is going to go back. I'm assuming that Luthen was talking about Cassian when he was talking about the other offer when he was on the radio. That's the only thing that I can imagine it being. This was, again, another really kind of good episode for, you know, just giving us some really impressive scenes. You know, this, again, kind of demonstrated, I think, the best of both worlds, where we had the really great action scene in space with Luthen's ship. And my God, do I love that ship. It's like a Bond car. It's got all the countermeasures, you know, it's got all these little secret, you know, sort of weapons that are designed to get him out of any situation. You know, it's clear that Luthen is a very, very smart man. He is prepared for all circumstances. And, you know, whether that's from having the database of transponders to use that can get him, you know, out of sticky situations, or whether it's having those countermeasures to, you know, get him out of even stickier situations, you know, it's clear that he has thought ahead quite a lot. And, you know, that's clearly why he's lasted as long as he has. And, you know, his dealings with Saw as well, I think that's the other side of it. You know, we've got the great action scenes in space, which, you know, were amazing. And then you've got the really intense, intriguing character side of it. And that interaction between him and Saw gave us so much. You know, it shows us how desperate Luthen is kind of getting, that he would go and risk telling Saw about, you know, the plan for Spellhurst, you know, and potentially giving up the fact that he does have an ISB plant, and risking the, you know, distrust of Saw. And then also showing us Saw's nature and how, you know, he goes from being a simple rebel in the Clone Wars who loses his sister to being the kind of almost insane, you know, constantly, you know, a nervous wreck figure in Rogue One. You know, it's there's such a contrast between his start and his end, and here it shows you that kind of middle part where he's slowly becoming more and more distrustful of everyone and everything, and, you know, he sees enemies all around him, and, you know, he's lived that life so much it's just seeped into his bones, and he can't now look at people, I think, without thinking they've got another motive. And that leads to him being so extreme, but that's why he doesn't want to work with other people. You know, that's why he thinks only his way is right, you know, and it's great that this show, even though it only gives us a couple of scenes with Saw, it does expand on that so much, and it gives you an opening into, you know, the heart of that character. The scenes on Ferrix itself, again, were kind of the other side of the show, the kind of really heartwarming side. And, you know, the way they're so gentle with B, the droid, you know, it's almost like treating it like a child who's lost a parent. You know, they don't have to do that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a droid. And a lot of people would consider the fact that, I mean, look at how C-3PO gets treated. You know, he's kind of just treated like a bumbling fool. But, you know, there's real emotion with B. And, you know, I think that the residents recognize that. And, you know, it's that kind of, it's the heart of the show. You know, this show has got so much kind of, it's like espionage thriller, it's like a tense political thriller, but it's also like a heartwarming show that has a little bit of action sprinkled in there. And I think this episode was all of those elements tied together. You know, in the previous arcs, we've seen them kind of fit into that 3-episode structure of setup, kind of build up, and then pay off with the action. With this, it's kind of like all come together now. And, you know, it just leaves you kind of in anticipation for what is going to happen in that finale. I don't honestly think that many people got off Narkina 5. I mean, yes, lots of people escaped the prison, but as you can see here, between the patrols of, you know, the Imperials, the difficulty of the landscape, and just the fact that they are on a really barren kind of looking planet with little to no way of escape, you would expect that I'd say 95% of those prisoners are either going to end up dead or recaptured. Or, well, I mean, if they get recaptured, they're essentially going to be dead, because there's no way the Empire is going to let them all live after, you know, they not only escaped, but also figured out what the Empire was doing in the prisons there. And, you know, that wasn't the only prison on Narkina 5. That was one of many facilities. So, you know, there's even more prisoners there. Those aliens, man. Those aliens, I don't know whether they were natives to Narkina 5. I'm guessing they were. They looked so weird. But, you know, it was a really, really good kind of design, a really good effect as well. I really hope that Kino is one of the ones that survived. You know, I'd like to think so. Tony Gilroy, who is the showrunner, he, you know, did mention that we didn't see Kino die, so that doesn't necessarily mean he's dead. And I'm hoping that that is going to be the case. You know, they clearly gave Melchian out here in this episode by, you know, having him go his separate ways. He will probably show up again in season 2 at some point, and I'm hoping that Kino does as well. That'd be a nice moment. But yeah, all roads are leading back to Ferrix. We're going to have that finale where clearly Cassian is going to show up at the funeral, and, you know, it is going to be a case of someone's going to spot him. Who is it going to be? Who's going to help him? Who's going to try and kill him? And, you know, how is this situation going to resolve itself to a point where, you know, we have Luthen not get discovered, or Vel or Cinta, even for that case. You know, we've seen just how close Cinta and the ISB agent have come. You know, what's going to happen to the likes of Bix? You know, she's clearly been traumatized, but is she going to be rescued? You know, where is this going to all end up, especially with the likes of Mon Mothma? I can't see Mon Mothma necessarily being the rebel figure at the end of the season, because we know that she doesn't break with the Empire until much closer to the Battle of Yavin, when the Gorman massacre happens. But, you know, she may take further steps to enhance the sort of rebellion that she's building. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting because, you know, again, most people can see where a finale is going to go. You know, with Obi-Wan, it was clear it's going to be the showdown between Obi-Wan and Vader. Mando, it was going to be between Gideon and Mando, you know, rescuing Grogu. But with this one, it's kind of like anything could happen. We know where it's going to take place. We know why it's going to take place, but we just don't know exactly what will happen. So it's going to be interesting. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you for the next one.